Hey guys and girls, I hope you are well. Happy Friday. I hope you've had a wonderful week. And I can tell you something, it's been friggin' chilly here. So at least today we get a warm day, so I feel a little bit thawed out. So thank you for dropping in with Array here. I know we do it at all sorts of random times whenever we can. So whoever's in the comments and the chat, thanks for joining me. And for those who catch me later, thank you for joining me then too. Okay, so we've had a bit of a crazy week actually. We only had one show this week. For some reason, just like this week, everything was, we had power, we had weather, we had, I can't even remember what else it was, with a lot of our guests and myself as well. So the only show we actually recorded this week was earlier this morning with Kerry Saint on Throwaway Kids. As you guys know, Kerry Saint, or if you don't know, she's one of our regulars on Aquarius Rising. Hello everybody, hello Thea, hello Nancy, hello Dragonfly. Good to see you guys. Kerry is a regular from Australia who's a great advocate for adoptees and adoptions, and she was part of the forced adoptions in Australia and is doing amazing work at just dealing with that, changing legislation, as well as she's written a book, and she just creates a lot of awareness around it, does a lot of shows with us where we speak about understanding what really goes into all of this, and really just kids who've been adopted as well, and understanding them. It's so crazy when we really see how these small nuances make such a difference in someone's life. So, this is what it is about healing. I've always said, we're in the time of healing now. So this is the type of stuff we have to look at, as well as also with Alice Barola. I want to highly encourage you guys to watch that stuff, because it's talking about, debunking the whole mental health labels, which is so important, because when we look at where we're at right now, there's so much of that going around, and we just need to understand, in my opinion, what's going on, and then we can all take it from there and just kind of, flow into unity from there. Cool. Okay, well, before we go on to, can you believe it? This week there's been a whole thing on the CONGO and these kids found in bags. But anyway, we're going to do a little snippet on that after we just do the update for this coming week. So we're just going to pop that onto the screen.
No, trovo trouver tout mon renseignement. Mama imasaki yote kunaona yuko hapa. Aisha kufungia batoto wake Mansaka asiende kabatufe. Mungu kubadai. Tikana kaje.
Modifu ya bongo.
Filme bote, filme bote. Bote ya bongo. Ya bongo bila ya bongo. Mungu moya. Mungu moya. Ya bongo ya bongo.
Tofa na telefone.
Tofa na telefone.
Bafungule.
Usifungule mule. Kwanza pole pole. Unafilma pole pole. Pole pole. Kwanza filma pole pole.
Mkabalujishe. Kwa nini?
Pole pole.
Asante mbele.
Kwanza batosha. Unafilma pole.
Angalia haka hivi nasema mama leo sana. Acha. Bate-moi.
Kwanza kufilma. Unafilma bia ba filma ke samu nani?
Na filme. Wewe aibe na 5000 francs huyu.
Toka mbeba.
Ekipimo yake hii.
Uba ngapi? Wenyewe watoto beba ngapi? Asema beba hapa njoni.
Wando riba wewe makuta.
Anaweka msaki njoni. Wewe ile shati ya mama ndio na mama filme.
Asema wengine boa hapa.
Filme.
Boa hapa.
Nifunga mwasaka.
Wengine wewe. Mwa mprefani.
Mtonga pole pole. Bela usasema vile.
Sema. Huyu ndio yini sasa, huyu ndio riba.
Pole pole kana chini.
Mwe baba mavu, aba batoto barifanya nini mwaweka msaki? Mujibu barifanya nini? Mwikale pale bote pale. Aba batoto bote walingia masaki njoo nini? Mseme sasa. Mama. Mwani banani? Aba batoto bakuta msaki njoo nini? Mwe badada yake. Barifanya nini? Anuye mama ufata. Bariba makuta. Makuta ngapi? 25,000. Bana wapatia pinisho kwa hiyo mansake ndio ya kuiba makuta.
Wow. Okay, well, that came out of the Congo this week. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Congo's in Africa. Probably one of the most war-torn, poverty-struck countries in Africa, yet minerally the richest, of the richest, if not the richest. In fact, I do believe it is the richest. In the Congo, they mine cobalt, right, which is the big reason why it is being raped in the way that it is, because cobalt is what we use in our batteries, in our cell phones, especially the iPhones, computers, electric cars, stuff like that. So guys, when you look at that, that is where, that's what powers your cell phone. That's what powers your electric car. That's what powers your computer, the cobalt, which is a very necessary ingredient. It's absolutely appalling what is happening in Africa right now, and has been for a very, very long time. So what's happening there, literally, mothers are taking their kids, putting them in bags, as you've seen, tying the bag, carrying them to be sold. And when people are stopping them in the streets or whatever, saying what's going on, they're saying, no, the kids are being punished. So then they take them to wherever they're going to be. Either they've obviously got a spot there where everyone knows is the local child trafficking hub, I would imagine, drop the kids off and get paid money for their kids. Now, where are these kids going to? Well, they're either going to the mining industry, and as we know in the Congo, it's absolute child slavery. Women and children are mining cobalt, and if they don't behave, I mean, with these big rebel soldiers standing with great big guns looking on and making sure that everything is done according to the way that has to be done. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do a talk on the cabal in Africa, because I actually, in fact, did a talk on it at one of the Telegram groups, not a couple of years ago, maybe a year ago. And I spoke a lot about what goes on in the Congo and just the rest of Africa and how this came to be. So I think I'm actually going to do a talk on that, because it's bloody heartbreaking when I see stuff like that. Anyway, but then I did also, now we know what's happening, also see that Putin is chemically castrating all pedophiles. So there's apparently a law being passed in Russia right now, or it's still in the process of happening, that all pedophiles are chemically castrated, should be, because there's also been a story, I think, recently where a soldier came back from the Ukraine and raped a 10 and a 12-year-old girl, and that is completely unacceptable in Russia. So Putin is now chemically castrating pedophiles. The world is rife with this problem, so I'm not sure how much good that's going to do. I mean, it definitely is a deterrent, of course, and I think if something like that can happen and it's going to solve the problem in even a small way, well, then why the hell not? But anyway, on a lighter note, I have to say, I think I mentioned it earlier on, talking about Russia and Putin. Woke up this morning, and not this morning, sorry, sometime this week, some message coming through on, I don't know, Telegram or something. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And then I get this long message from this girl, I don't know, like absolutely crapping on me, because how can we as South Africans be supporting Russia in their plight against America? I mean, it was so hilarious, because I'm like, what on earth? Like, please just go away. It's early in the morning. I need to sleep. But, you know, that's one of these things we get, that I'm not completely responsible for South Africa siding with Russia against in the war against America. I mean, what can I say, guys? Not my choice. So if we could just accept it at that. But anyway, I just thought I'd tell you that on a lighter note, because it's quite funny. Anyway, so if Morné can just put up for us the calendar in the, so we can just go through just chats this week. Yep. So we got a busy week. You can see our calendar is looking a little bit crunched up here. Monday, we got 2 o'clock on Monday, which is our time, GMT or CAT. Yana Smith again, amazing lady from Namibia, one of my really, really, really good friends, doing this whole, her PhD on the whole human-animal conflict, working with the first tribes from Namibia as well, really, really getting incredible information, which has never been delved into before. So she's doing some groundbreaking work there, and I always love chatting to her about her adventures. She's just been off into the field again, so we're going to be hearing some awesome stories. She works with the Ovareru, I think, and Himba, I think, the 2 tribes at the moment. I think the other one's the Himba. Anyway, okay, so then we got Bryce with the Emerald Tablets at 4 o'clock. That's Monday. And then Tuesday, Mr. Fox, and I know we've had a few cancellations around Mr. Fox and the organic portals. But yeah, we've had a few technical issues around that time, so bear with us. Organic portals, what are organic portals? Really what he's saying, and according to the law of one, is that these are really humans who only operate from their lower 3 energy centers or chakras. We all have energy centers. So these, in other words, they're not operating from the heart center, which is the 4th center. They only operate, they live life on earth only operating in the lower realms, which makes a heck of a lot of sense when you see what's happening with all the trafficking and the pedos and what have you going on. Very interesting conversation. So I want to say you guys should tune in for that as well. Wednesday is Double Dose Jessie Day. I know we didn't have Jessie this week. Sorry, guys, she wasn't feeling well. So we've got, again, we're going to be looking at the Gateway Experience. I think that'll be the last one, the dark side of the Gateway Experience. Well, let's always remember the CIA kept that document or that information secret for very obvious reasons, because they also don't want us understanding what our minds are capable of. But what they've done with that is they've taken that and they've completely exploited it. And of course, as these Lucies or lower level chakras, whatever you want to call them, operate on, that's the type of thing they do, because it's all about manipulation and contortion. But very, very interesting discussions there. So if those of you who haven't seen the Gateway experience we've done with Jessie, I want to implore you, go and check that out. That, in fact, is probably the most important information, in my opinion, that we need to know, because it helps us understand that's kind of the gateway, if you will. That's why they call it the Gateway Experience. It's the gateway to mind control when used in its negative polarity, which we know these guys do all the time. And then, so we've got 2 shows with Jessie on Wednesday, and then Bryce with the Sophia Code on that's 5:30 Wednesday as well. And then Friday, Lera Nikolaev again, our lovely Ukrainian lady that is talking about her experience being an avatar, if you will, a child soldier for the Russians, which is very, very interesting. She's a seer, and as she reclaims her memories again, she also shows us what God shows her is in very odd and awkward places. Again, very informative, and everything she's seeing is going in line with what everyone else I know that knows. So very interesting. These are very gifted people that they've mind altered and controlled as well. So it's very interesting getting that perspective. And then, of course, Sunday we have Jesse for the Patreon book club. His Kingdom Comes in Power. That's 3 p.m. our time, 9 p.m. Central time. And then after that, newbie, and I hope many of you with kiddies can join, Bible time for kids with Jesse. So we're inviting your families with kiddies to come and join us on Sunday at 5 p.m. Central Africa time, and I think that will then be 11 a.m. Central, whatever time, Eastern time. Right, sorry guys, Eastern time. Okay, and that's for the kids, so I'm super excited about that. So you're welcome to join with your families and your little kidlings, and to join us for Bible time with Jesse. That's for the Patreons, by the way. So it'll be Patreons for either Aquarius Rising, or for Jesse. So look forward to having you guys all there again. And I want to just see who's saying hello. Yeah, will it solve the problem? Karen, I doubt that anything will solve the problem like that. But what I do say is that it probably, and we're talking about the chemically castrations that Putin is now putting into place in Russia, from what I'm reading. But when we're seeing how our kids are being trafficked, we got to know for all sorts of different reasons, and it just freaks me out. So for those of you who joined late, we did play a video clip earlier on of these kids in the Congo being carried around in bags so they can be trafficked by their mothers, sadly enough. Okay, so I think it's more than anything, it's a deterrent. I think no man wants to be chemically castrated, so he might be a little bit more careful about what he does with his members. Good morning. My dad was a high school teacher, and that's Courtney. Wow, back in the 70s, body parts in garbage bags in a locker is something he saw early in his career, and he's somewhat... I can believe that. That is so crazy. Body parts in a locker, wow. Well, someone was obviously doing things. At least these aren't quite body parts, but let's try and hope that we catch these perpetrators and put a stop to this disgusting behavior. I mean, who even thinks that that's okay? But you see, this again is what desperation does to people. It really is. When people are desperate, they will go to desperate measures. And we know, guys, at Africa, how Africa is the richest continent, and it's actually the most underpopulated continent. They've led us to believe that it's the most overpopulated continent. It's actually the most underpopulated continent. We have lots and lots and lots of land and lots of space here. The African people are farmers by nature. They belong to the land. The land does not belong to them. That's really the way that many of the African people have thought, and that's kind of like their upbringing. So, when we see how these guys, the Kabbalists, come in here and raped and stolen from the continent, the people, and that they've got to be demeaned to this extent that you literally wrapping your kid up in a bag and taking it to be sold. Wow. We need lots of redemption and lots of prayer there. So guys, please, I know we don't always like to share the nasty stuff, but it needs to be seen. So, and on that note, I will wish you a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful weekend. Have a fantastic time. And as I said, we will see you back next week. Lots of busyness happening on this channel next week, so we'll see you around quite a few times. And in the meantime, God bless you. Take good care of yourselves. Take good care of your families. And we will definitely see you early next week. See you then.